Hello, and welcome to the Pay It Forward podcast, where we get into conversations with payment experts from around the world. I'm Fiona McFarlane, and joining me for this episode is none other than Alana Condratov. You are the Director of New Business for Freemarket. You are a board member for European Women in Payments Network, and you're also a speaker here at the festival.
Right.
Am I right?
Yes, that's right.
Well, Alana, thank you for joining me.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Not a problem. So like I said, you've actually just come off stage where you were talking about the challenges that are underfoot within cross-border payments.
That's right. It was a wonderful opportunity to speak about cross-border payments. I specifically started my talk speaking about peer-to-peer payments and how actually peer-to-peer payments are leading the technology behind cross-border payments. And generally, I think in the payments industry, we're way more advanced in B2C sector and peer-to-peer payments, but with B2B payments, we are really far behind. And this was kind of the thesis of my talk.
And tell me, does your company, Freemarket, alleviate these particular issues that you were talking about?
Yes, we do. So what we focus on is we are a specialist in cross-border payments. We're focused on in B2B cross-border payments. We are an aggregator of banking services. So the way we set ourselves apart from other players in the market space is that we work with multiple banking providers, and that provides banking resilience, because banks, they change their risk appetites, and from one day to the other you can actually lose your banking partner, and then it takes from 3 to 6 months to apply for a new corporate banking account, and you lose your payments accounts. And we provide this opportunity for our customers to have the payments accounts and also do currency conversion at the same time.
Another topic that I've seen you discuss at length over the past 12 months and that I wanted to get on the podcast is with regards to the nuances, cultural nuances within transactions and how that can impact negatively the success of a transaction. Could you talk to me a little bit about the complexities?
Of course. Obviously, there's different types of operations internationally, and then it's a lot of it. I know you asked about the cultural nuances, but also a lot of it is reflected in the regulation side of it. So working with, say, the LATAM market, which is completely unregulated in terms of financial industry, or parts of it are unregulated, let me correct myself, and then working with LATAM companies, working with European companies that are very heavily regulated and very, very strict. It's a completely different relationship, and you need to understand the nuances of the LATAM market, for instance, if you're going into that area. But generally people like to be paid and pay in different ways. So you go from China to Europe, and it's going to be in Mexico, is going to be completely different, and the way we send money, the way we receive money, both privately and for businesses as well. So you need to take all of that into account. And you have to also understand the market that you're going into. And, if you go with a strong strategy, there will be dividends to reap, for sure. Yeah.
That's excellent. Thank you so much for that answer.
No worries.
Now, if you don't mind, I'm going to tack over into a different topic.
Sure.
One of the things that I'm asking all of our interviewees is, from their perspective, their viewpoint into the industry, what are the biggest trends and technologies impacting what they see?
I have to probably be a little bit selfish in this sense, representing Freemarket here, but I do think B2B payments, and I've heard this numerous times today in other talks from other speakers, that B2B payments is a big, big market. There was a research made that by 2024, the market will be something around 44 trillion USD. That's a massive opportunities for everybody. So we're moving away from peer-to-peer, from B2C more to B2B. So I think this will be a huge topic in the next few years. Also, I think about AI is obviously still a very hot topic, and also how can we integrate it and implement it. We've done that successfully, I think, with blockchain, and we're seeing more and more companies that are implementing blockchain as well. But I think AI is the next hot thing, and I saw a lot of startups here that are focusing on AI technologies. I think regulation will be also still a very big topic, because we need to find better regulation, we need to define it, we need to implement it, and we need to speak up as well as fintechs that are presented here at this event, for instance, and see how we can move things forward instead of going backwards.
Fantastic. Well, we've got a little more time, and I had a few more questions I wanted to ask you, so I'll dive into the next one.
Sure.
I wanted to ask you about something that you seem to be very passionate about, which is diversity and equality in payments. Would you mind telling me, how did you get into the space?
I got into the space because when I joined the payments industry, I didn't see a lot of women, first of all, in the industry, and I didn't see a lot of women that looked like me. And I thought, how can I change it, and what can be done to change that as well? And the best thing is get involved yourself and see how you can actually influence and affect it. And I think there weren't many young women as well. Young women are not really, you weren't really taken seriously either. Being part of European Women in Payments Network, I'm on the executive committee, and last year was one of the main organizers of the event, the annual event. I see that, pay it forward, bring young women, educate them that there is this industry, that there is a very interesting industry of payments. What are the possibilities there? And you can indeed succeed. But also, I think it's not only women. I think it's also, I like to encompass all parts of diversity, be it neurodiversity, any kind of, we always think that diversity is only about gender, but you forget that there's so many aspects of it. And you don't want to leave people out, you want to be inclusive. And that's why it's diversity and inclusion. You want to be inclusive, no matter what the background, no matter what the, race, religion, gender, sexuality, whatever it may be. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
With regards to initiatives that you're working on in that space right now, are there any in particular?
I think one that is really dear, close to heart for me is exactly bringing in more younger people into the industry, and again, younger people that are underrepresented. So I think making sure that young professionals get an opportunity. When I was starting off in the payments industry, it was very difficult to convince your employer to send you to some conference because you want to network. Being in sales, it's a little bit easier. I'm a part of a commercial team. However, I think companies need to give an opportunity for young people to network, because otherwise you cannot grow. And it's very difficult if only senior people are attending events. Then you will never network, you will never learn, your communication circle is very limited.
I completely agree. You're actually bringing back memories of my own debut in fintech in London. Tell me, do you think that since you've started proactively supporting gender and inclusion, that you've made a dent? Has there been any changes, or do you think there's still room to grow?
Oh, there's always room to grow. I think, it's a never-ending fight for diversity and inclusion, but I think that's also something that we cannot stop. We, constantly have to fight for it. And there's, I live in Vienna, and in Vienna, on the president's office, it says that, democracy is something that you have to fight for every day. And I think the same with diversity and inclusion, something that you have to fight for every single day. Yeah.
So what is some advice you'd give to young leaders, male or female, who are listening and are looking to take on leadership roles on a global scale, such as yourself?
I would say get out of your comfort zone. So I got out of my comfort zone coming to this event because I've never been to this event. I don't know the audience. I don't know who other speakers were. So it's a leap of faith, but you get out of your comfort zone, you come, you speak, there's different boundaries for everybody else, right? Whether you are at an event and it's just coming up to a stranger and saying hello and introducing yourself. That's also a big leap for some people. And I think related to that is network. It's the most important thing. I think you can be a wonderful performer, but nobody will ever know anything about your work if you don't, work on your image and your exposure as well. So exposure is a huge part of growth, I think, and you need to network in order to grow your exposure. Yeah.
100%. Alana, thank you so much for your time, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the festival.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.